Captive product pricing, where products that complement, companies will charge a premium price when the consumer is captured. For example, a restaurant will charge a low price and recoup its margin and more, solely from the sale of its only specialty. Captive product pricing strategy is only used when a certain product requires a refill components. Some products require the use of a supplementary or what is called the captive products. Companies use this strategy to maximize their revenue because low prices are offered for the core products but high prices are paid for the captive products. The one of the best example for the supplementary or the refill components are film for cameras and ink for the printers. Tailored pricing. In this method, the marketer works backward from the established price to determine what the actual components of their offering will be. Prices that guests will pay are first determined based on research, past experience, etc. And then, the products and services to be offered are tailored to match those prices. Fixed price dinners at gourmet restaurants, travel tours, and holiday gateway packages are among the offerings geared to a certain price points. This kind of strategy doesn't have a predetermined amount for the products and services. The prices differs in clients' needs, budget, and potential for upselling. Product line pricing. Product line pricing is different products within the same product range at different price points. For example, a video manufacturer offering different video recorders with different features at different prices. The greater the feature and the benefit obtained, the greater the consumer will pay. This form of price discrimination assists the company in maximizing turnover and profits. Psychological pricing. The seller here is considered the psychology of price and the positioning of price within the marketplace. The seller will therefore charge 99 pies instead of 1 rupees, or 199 rupees instead of 200 rupees. We often see this kind of pricing strategy at supermarket, department store, and even in convenience store, and it is undoubtedly effective. This business practice the strategy of setting price lower than the whole number to make the consumer believe that the product is cheaper than it really is. Premium pricing. The price is set high to reflect the exclusiveness of the product. An example of product using this strategy would be Harrods, first-class airline services, Porsche, etc. A high price is used where there is uniqueness about the product or services. This approach is used where a substantial competitive advantage exists. Such high prices are charged for luxuries such as Conrad Cruise, Savoy hotel rooms, and Concorde flights. The price of the product is extremely high because of its brand, and also because it is the ultimate status symbol. That's why people buy it despite of its price. However, it is not only the product they bought, but also the services that is given to them by the company or businesses for their satisfaction. Economy pricing. This is no real low price. The cost of marketing and manufacture are kept at a minimum. Supermarkets often have their economy brands for soups, spaghettis, etc. Economy pricing is the contrary of the premium pricing. Some companies and businesses often have their own product line that is much more cheaper and affordable because not all of their consumer and customer can afford their existing product brand. Also, economy pricing helps companies to survive during the time of economic instability. Geographical pricing. Geographical pricing is evident where there are variation in price in different parts of the world. For example, rarity value or shipping cost increase price. Items or the product's price is based on the location of the buyer and the cost of shipping. Value pricing. This approach is used where external factors such as recession or increased competition force companies to provide value products and services to retain sales, for example, value meals at McDonald's. Yield management. It constitutes changing the discount offered depending on fluctuating demand and advanced bookings. Guests are offered the same hotel rooms for different prices depending on when the reservation is booked. Computers are used to change the price daily and hourly depending on whether the demand is strong or weak. It is said here that the price differs from when you booked your reservation. There is something called the peak season where it is called the time of the year when a lot of people travel and the prices is usually at their highest. The firm manages its revenue and inventory by effectively pricing differences based on elasticity of demand for customer segments. Price discrimination techniques are used by setting fences that prohibit customers from one segment to receive prices for another segment. For example, airlines require a Saturday stay to keep business travelers from taking advantage of low fares. Yield management should be based on sound marketing to help maintain a long-term relationship with desired customers. Yield management, a strategy for increasing profits. Yield management has been around since 1970s when it was introduced by airlines who realized that they needed to have a strategy for offering an identical flight experience to different customers for different prices, based solely upon the time at which they booked the flexibility that they required. Hotels only really started practicing it in mid 1990s in an attempt to rationalize the wide variety of rates that they were charging different customer. To put it simply, yield management is a strategy based on selling to the right customers at the right time in a right price. Yield management and revenue management is one and the same thing. Essentially, they are on an approach to increasing profit. By responding to what we know about the past, what we know about the present, and what we think will happen in the future. It is also known as forecasting or demand forecasting. Forecasting is a way of analyzing past trends and data to predict the further approach of a business. Also, it predicts the time when the consumer demand rises and fall. In other words, we are trying to sell the right room at the right time and at the right price to the right person. Many hotels focus either on the occupancy or average rate and make the most decision on a very short-term basis. Yield management is a systematic approach to simultaneously optimize both average rate and occupancy. The ultimate aim being 100% yield, for example, 100% occupancy at a rack rate. Yield is based on the basic economic theory of supply and demand. In times of high demand, high prices can be charged. Conversely, when demand is low, prices will be lowered. Also, when supply is limited, prices rises, and when there is an oversupply, prices drop. Here we are trying to match supply and demand by establishing customers' willingness to pay a certain price. Often, the customer will be less flexibility in terms of date and location, will be prepared to pay the highest price. But when will expect the hotel or airline to afford him a great deal of flexibility should he wish to change his arrangements. Conversely, the customer who is preferred to be flexible with date and location will expect a lower price, but must then appreciate that once booked he no longer has any flexibility. Yield management is only offered in hotels and airlines because of the following merits. Capacity is relatively fixed, demand is derived from distinct market segments, inventory is perishable. An unsold room today cannot be sold twice tomorrow to make up for the lost revenue. They, the product is often sold well in advance of consumption. Demand fluctuates significantly.